So till date, the entire project, whatever it has costed, is till date self-funded by myself. Shockingly, uh, I have been able to do this with the very limited funds that I had, or all the savings that I had. Uh, I myself, being coming from IT background, it was quite easy for me to find the right people to do it for the right amount for me. But at the same time, the app development aspect, such as the screen design, the UI, the US aspect of it, that is something I've done it myself. Reason I am quite creative. So I have actually created the flows all by myself, and I was talking to one of, I would say, a lead mobile app developers in India, and I showed him that, and he was like, "Who created that for you? I would like to use them for our next client." I said, "I don't think you can afford me." And he said, "No, you didn't create them." I said, "Yes, I did, all of them." And he was like, "Well, you have gone from splash screen, onboarding, registration, login, purchase, and everything else. How did you go about it?" Well, that is exactly what I used to do. So it comes down to the fact that I have been able to save money everywhere that I could actually use my own skills or those of my friends and known people. So I've actually pulled them all together. Guys, I need help with this. Can you actually figure it out for me and tell me how it needs to be done? And they've come back very openly and told me how it needs to be done. Coming back to your other question about have I raised any funding till date? No, we haven't. But at this stage, because we are now reaching an MVP stage where we have to actually get to a point of fit to market actual product that we have to actually work through, we are talking to certain angel investors as we speak now. So I have reached out to a few, honestly. My One of my core team members know a few as well. So we have actually started working on our pitch deck, which is now finalized. So most probably we've got a meeting next week remotely, keeping social distance in place, and we'll be able to finalize on that pitch deck, and that is exactly what we're going to send out to the investors who have actually shown their interest. Because as we speak, there is a bit of talk within the community of angel investors and seed investors to actually jump on this opportunity. But at the end of the day, until and unless they see the product itself, it's quite easy for me to say, you know what, I'm going to build a hotel on Mars, but how am I going to reach there? So I am saying this is what I'm going to do, but can you show us how this thing is going to work? Does this technology exist? The polygrammetry, the thickness, for instance, because you have to understand, I can give an 8 millimeter thick nail. I have to give them the exact 1.5 millimeter thickness of an acrylic nail and still keep it light so they can actually move their hand freely. And that is exactly what I want to show in a demo with my MVP to my investors. And that is currently that we're going through. So we're going through a lot of changes in our paychecks because we want to make sure. But do understand at the end of the day, it is not only the product itself, it is the big data behind it. The data collection point that is going to drive a lot of our business. So for me, the hardware is one element, but the collection and the big data and the converting data into knowledge is something that we look forward to do moving forward.
And so, with regards to the approach that you're taking to seek out investors, how have you been going around finding angels? What has been your process on creating a pitch deck? Where are you looking?
See, if you Google creating a pitch deck today, you will find a lot of examples. You can actually look on Google, find the most successful pitch decks, and you will find a lot of examples as well at the same time. But your pitch deck needs to showcase your product and your vision in a way that only you can see it in your mind. So in order to paint that on a pitch deck or a presentation becomes very, very, very difficult, I would rather say. So it is easier to use the data that you already have, because at the end of the day today there is no data available about this market. We say the market is valued over 80 billion US dollars. All right, and those data come from the sales of nail lacquer such as OPI, how many registered nail technicians are in the US, because they majorly reflect only about the US market, and what is how many customers do they cater on a weekly basis, and so forth and so forth. Based on that collection of that data, we have actually broken them down into pieces to understand what is the structure of this market, because today it doesn't exist. So while creating that pitch deck and reaching out to the angel investor, I have used a lot of different channels. I've used my own LinkedIn network, for instance. I have spent money on becoming LinkedIn premium customer, premium user, for instance. That way, you can actually reach out to the right people. Currently, you can't, as a freebie, you can't do that. So for me, it is like, okay, understanding, would they be interested in the sector? Have they invested in the sector themselves previously? Would they bring any value to my business, to the board, as an advisory committee or as a mentorship? And at the same time, if they can't do it themselves, as I stated earlier, I have found someone who clearly said to me, Raj, I love your idea, mate, but it's not my piece. It's not my cup of tea. So what I would rather do is I will introduce you to someone who I think is the right fit for you. And in another 10 minutes, I got an email from him CCing that other person and introducing me by saying, "Hey, I want you two to chat because I think this is the right fit for you two. You two are like made couple in heaven. Or I'm already married, but nevertheless, you know what I mean." But the fact remains, that is how I have been able to reach out to the angel investors right now. From my from the other person point of view, as I stated, someone who has got a huge sales channel distribution network experience, the girl, I would rather say, or the lady that I'm trying to get on board, she has got a very good channels. I was told I could actually use, what is it called? Uh, God, what is that platform called when you raise funds from individuals?
Crowdcube or
Crowdfunding.
crowdfunding.
All
Yeah.
right, so crowdfunding. So I spoke to crowdfunding consultant, and they were like, "What are you trying to raise? X, Y, Z. Well, you need to bring this much amount yourself." Well, that is not crowdfunding for me. Crowdfunding is, this is my idea, and I'm looking for X amount. This is the development stage we are at, and with these funds, we want to reach the next stage. But if I have to bring half of it myself, I don't see that as crowdfunding. I see that as you guys are only topping up and taking 20% of it. So it doesn't make sense to me. But I think reaching out to the right people from the right sector, so you have to do a lot of R&D from that point of view, understand the interest of those investors. Do they have any previous experience within the sector itself? Would they bring any value in any ways, either marketing, sales, or supply chain management, or product development, or application development, project management, whatsoever? And accordingly, I have actually shortlisted only 10 out of them right now, out of 50 that I had a list of. Now, I still got another 100 to go through. So I think the stage I'm in right now, if I send out to 50, I'll be presenting it to 10. And out of 10, I'll be talking to 5 in the next round. And from the 5, I'll be jotting down with the 3. And from 3, I'll be finalizing with 2.